What would you rather consume? This or that? Eggs or pizza? Food or cardboard? The correct choices here should be obvious. But let's follow this guy's day to see if they're easy. The first meal of the day. Here we've got a classic mistake. But the issue here is the fact that he even has a choice to begin with. The solution here is really simple. You just have to eliminate the other choice. But let's see what happens to this man during the rest of the day. Before we get to that, there's something I didn't show you on the back. Right here is junk food. This is what happens when you eat junk food. You get this spike, but then you plummet. You feel terrible and you don't recover. This is worse than here. This is suffering. This is misery. This is what you call obesity, diabetes, addiction. This is our modern society. But look, this is normal food. Notice how I didn't say healthy food. It's normal food because before junk food, there was no healthy food. It was just food. This is what it looks like. You eat and then you feel satiated. You're satisfied and then you start to get hungry again. You don't have this massive drop. You don't have obesity. You don't have diabetes. You don't have heart problems. You don't have cancer. You don't have any of that garbage. This is suffering and it's self-inflicted. This is normal. This is lunch for today. We've got a cardboard sandwich as well as a carb sandwich. And as you can see, there is no forethought into this person's future because we're gonna see things start to go really bad. But before we do that, let's look at the common mistake that's being made. This person is not even looking at his future because you see what happens with junk food is it's actually a punishment because when you eat junk food, you're actually hurting yourself. And to explain this best, let's look at this next part of the story. Hey, right here. This right here is what happens after you participate in our modern lifestyle. This is what happens after you drink alcohol. It's the splitting headache. This is what happens after you eat too much candy. It's the terrible stomach ache, the fatigue. This is what happens after you eat too many processed foods like very gross cakes and carbs. This is what our modern lifestyle does to you. But for some reason, people are not aware of this when they're about to make the decision to eat junk food. They don't know what's gonna happen to them in a couple hours from now. Right here is graphed out what it looks like to eat junk food, normal food, and fruit. So as you can see, junk food is great in the beginning, but then you start going down and you start suffering. And then this is where you become delusional. And that's where you cope and say that junk food is good and then it tastes good and that you're just gonna keep eating it. And over here you hit rock bottom, you hit disease, overweight, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, all of the nasty stuff you don't want. Right here, food, you're just satisfied, normal. But then you can eat fruit. And it's just amazing. Fruit is so good. You are actually better off eating fruit than junk food. And here we come to dinner time. This is where people like to have the common treat called alcohol. And I'm just using it as a symbol to show that people actually like this stuff. And here's the thing. Alcohol, I've never had it, but I've heard that it's a good party thing. But then there's a lot of people, it's a common lifestyle choice to eat alcohol or drink alcohol while watching TV, while playing video games, while scrolling on social media. But then it's also completely destroys your sleep. There's not a single benefit to alcohol except for the immediate. And just like everything else mentioned in this video, all the junk food, the alcohol, everything else is all just immediate rewards and just, oh, here's my nice little nifty graph. You can replace junk food with alcohol, literally anything, drugs, cigarettes, literally anything, and it's all just immediate. Us modern humans, we are experts at suffering. And this is Disney Channel.